Hey, Daniel here. Day 2 at Sapphire is just over, and from an integration perspective, there was quite a lot of interesting things that I would like to share with you. Keynote it started with Hasse Plattner that was talking a lot about this connected enterprise and how everything was, or intelligent enterprise, how everything was working out. And my key takeaway from this was obviously that's really going to require a lot of integration if that's going to happen. So if you want to make sure that your full business process is supported across multiple different cloud providers, so SuccessFactors, Ariba, whatever, Concur, then it makes sense to get those connected and ensure that they work smooth. So obviously integration there is really a crucial point. And then I guess it turns out to be what type of flavors of integration there's going to be. Will it just be the data-driven organization that we have at the moment, or will we actually be able to create other types of integration that makes sense, a process that I'm coming from, because there's I think they were talking about 3 or 5 different integration flavors that people need to deal with for this to happen. And maybe there's more. So there's the process, the PI part, there's the data, that's the ETL part, where they've got the new tools, the data hub thingy, analytics, user-centric, and one other thing. But definitely that's a lot of different integration points that users need to figure out. So how do we deal with these things, and what's really the important things of these things? So I think that's was the key takeaway from that session. Then another session I attended, or a session I attended that was really interesting, was API and best practice strategy for implementing S4 Cloud. And I think the messaging here is, and also when you see about all the intelligent enterprise, that this is the one you want to go with if at all possible, because you would get so much more flexibility and value by doing that compared to selecting the on-premise one. And there's a lot of innovation going on, and I think the innovation for it with machine learning, and now you have the ability to assist in month-end closing, and some of these things that is time-consuming in old ECC. Those are the things that they are able to automate in S4 Cloud. So I think it may be worth to invest a little effort and figure out, so this business process do we have, is it actually possible to migrate it to S4 Cloud, the specific business process, and can we just live with that? And then we want to create a few extension points in Cloud Platform, which was also one of the key parts of the highlight, that there was a lot of integration going on. So I think there was 5,000 users of Cloud Platform integration. Sounds pretty much. So it's for integration. So there's no iDocs anymore. I think there was some iDocs they were using for some internal scenarios, but they are not used for customer purposes. So you cannot use those as EDI brokers. And that probably do not make sense, because you're anyway going to just come on. It's not gonna make any difference, because you're just going to integrate them anyway. Then the other point we have was, so if you're doing EDI, then what you want to do is you want to use a SOAP API that's generating these different interface things, and then you want to use Integration Advisor for doing the mapping to your EDI documents. I'm really looking forward to see how they would handle all of these different flavors of the EDI that people have, and we have set on this standard definition, so this is the one we will stick with. But hopefully SP is able to make a change to that definition, and then it will work. Well, that was one thing. Then the other thing was, I think that, yeah, that's definitely the big thing. Then they had released a lot of APIs that you could find on Business Hub. If you wanted to do monitoring, it seemed like there was no place in ECC you could do that, but you could do it using API management, so you expose these endpoints in API management. And regarding that, there was you needed to whitelist the APIs that you wanted to expose in your ECC system, so it makes it a little easier to deal with those kind of things. Then I heard from Sindhu that they had released another CIO guide, and the CIO guide is SAP's way of saying, well, this is what is going on. I guess this was not really a good idea. This is how you'd help, and the topic of the CIO guide is how to do is for integration. What's the how does that all work out? And I guess that really talks to this concept that we have. How do we actually make this integration work? Because I think that's really crucial for businesses about how can we actually migrate to this and what's gonna happen there. So obviously using any of the other cloud instances or S4 instances, you would still have the iDocs. But yeah, from a development perspective, I guess it's not going to be updated as much. So I think that was a little about my key takeaway from today. So a lot of things going on with integration, and I guess it's difficult really to figure out what all of these different things is. And as a user, a developer, a consultant, you really need to figure out how all of these different things is. So go to my blog, you can find it in the link below, or if you're on the blog, you will probably see this video. There I'll also created a link that shows you, or the CIO guide, where you can find it, so we get those things covered. So yes, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, comments, please post them below. I'd like to hear your take on some of these things. Thanks!